Hello, beauties. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great weekend. This week we are talking about advocacy, and it's going to be a whole week of story time, as some of my colleagues would call this. I'm going to share some stories that I've experienced in my career, as well as stories of friends and colleagues of mine that may be helpful. Advocacy is a very big topic, and we're going to narrow it down a little bit this week, but we would love your comments and questions on this. You can direct message me or post about how you've experienced advocacy in your business life or your personal life and how you've been an advocate for others. The story that I want to tell today is about a friend of mine who's a businesswoman and her colleague who's also a businesswoman, and how they advocated for themselves, but also how they asked their colleagues to advocate on their behalf. Sometimes in board meetings, for example, this is the example I'm going to use, a woman might begin to talk and share an idea, and what can happen is in a board that may not be enlightened, shall we say, other members of the board or participants that have come to the table will talk over the woman who's speaking. So this sounds like I might say, wow, I have this idea. I was tasked with solving this problem. The team and I solved it in these ways. And I might begin to say that. And what might happen is that a male colleague or someone at the table will begin to talk over me in this example. And then later on, restate my idea as if it was his own. And this is something that's super common and happens quite a lot. And everyone will say at the table, often what happens is people will say, oh, wow, great job, male colleague. You have such a good idea. I love what you had to say. When the female colleague was the one who did the work, had the initial idea, but her voice was not heard. And so this is a common occurrence that can happen. I've experienced this myself. And there have been many times when I've experienced this in the beginning part of my career where I would completely shut down and my body language would just shrink up. I'd try and make myself as physically small as possible. And I didn't even know I was doing that. It was another female colleague who told me I was doing that. And so what my friend did is she went to another woman on the board and she said, hey, would you be willing to do me a favor? And her friend said, sure, what is it? And she said, when you see this happening, I'm really struggling with this issue. When you see this happening, would you do me a favor and stand up for me in these ways? She said, and that might sound like you say, hey, I was really interested in what person's name was and what they were saying. And they just agreed on a set of language that they were going to do. And so the first woman would begin speaking at the next board meeting. She was talked over, someone was taking her idea, and the other woman said, wait a second, and stopped the room and said, I really want to hear what she said. And just that act, after they did that consistently and repeatedly at several meetings, changed how the rest of the board interacted, to the point that one of their male colleagues said, I've got to know, I've noticed that this has started happening. Why are you doing that? They said, because I think this person has really valued ideas, valuable thoughts, and I really want to hear what she has to say. And he said, how do I support you in that? And it became modeling of behavior, modeling of the actions and the words. And as a result, someone else wanted to advocate as well. So that's one example of what we're going to be talking about this week, is how you advocate for yourself, and what that looks like for you might be different. You might want to really address something face to face with someone. You might want to have a conversation where you set expectations about that with a group. It'll really depend on you. But what I like about this story is that a woman reached out to a woman and they helped each other. And as a result, other people on the team noticed and asked how they could advocate as well. And that's what modeling behavior looks like. So this is inspired by my favorite shirt I just got this week, and I want to show you why we're talking about this. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This is Princess Leia, who became General Leia, which obviously I like, Lady in Leadership. And it says, a woman's place is in the resistance. And it feels empowering, and I love it. And that's what we're really talking about this week. How can you be empowered? How do you advocate for others? And how do you find your voice? We'll see you tomorrow.